Your kids don't care about ducks, but their lungs sure do. Hi, I'm Tommy with Tommy Cool, and today we're talking about something you can't see, but you sure can feel, and that's the air inside your home. When I say your home breathes, I mean it. Picture this. You tuck in your little one at night. The air feels cool enough. You think back, the thermostat is set just right. But as they drift off, their tiny little lungs are starting to pull in more than just oxygen. They're pulling in dust, attic air, insulation fibers, sometimes even a little mold party floating around unseen. Yeah, not exactly a bedtime story that you want to tell. Now, when I was a kid, we didn't have air conditioning until I was 16 years old. So I know exactly what it feels like to sleep sticky, tossing and turning in Corpus Christi's high humidity. Back then, air was just air. I didn't really think about it. Now I know better. I know it's the most important thing in the house that nobody ever talks about. See, when you walk outside and it smells salty or fresh after a storm, you notice it. But when you walk down your hallway and it smells like old socks and attic funk, you really don't always connect the dots. What do we end up doing? We blame the laundry, we blame the dog, we blame the teenager. But half the time, it's your ducks whispering to you, hey, we're leaking up here. Because here's what really happens. You've got this big old metal lung system running through every inch of your attic. Every bend, every joint, every little screw hole, that's a chance for your system to suck in stuff from the attic. Think of it like drinking through a straw with a hole halfway up. You sip harder and harder, but what do you get? Just more air bubbles, right? That's your AC with leaky ducts. It's working twice as hard and giving you half the comfort. And guess what it's dragging into your home? Things like fiberglass, dust, hot and humid attic air. All of that junk ends up in the same place that your family's breathing. Now, I've been in hundreds of homes in and around Corpus Christi, Texas. Nice ones, old ones, brand new ones that still smell like paint and carpet glue. And I'll tell you this, about 8 out of 10 have some kind of duct leak. Sometimes it's small, sometimes it's big enough to whistle Dixie through. When you get up into those attics and you see what's going on, you know what it's like? It's like peeking behind the curtain in The Wizard of Oz. You see things you don't expect to see. Insulation hanging loose like spaghetti. Duct tape that gave up way back in the Bush administration. And air pouring into all the wrong places. Do you ever notice your kids wake up stuffy? Or that one bedroom that's always hotter? And the other one that feels like Antarctica? That is not your imagination. That's static air pressure and airflow. It's your house playing tug-of-war with itself. You see, when ducts leak, they pull attic air in and push good air out. It messes with a whole lot of things. It messes with humidity. That lets mildew sneak in. That feeds dust mites. That sets off allergies. It's all connected, like one big invisible ecosystem floating through your walls. Now, I like to think of your home like a set of lungs. When it breathes easy, everyone inside does too. But when it's congested, the house coughs in the form of odors, dust, and moisture. That Gulf air creeps in through every crack. And when it finds a cool vent, boom, guess what you get? Condensation. That's when you start to see dripping vents or little gray spots on ceilings around that. That ain't just old paint. That's your house saying, I'm getting sick. Now let's talk about what that really means for your family. Your kids' lungs are like these little bitty sponges. They actually take in more air per pound than adults do. So if that air's dirty, they're getting a bigger dose of it. Ever notice that they get sniffly inside, but they're fine outside? That is a real clue right there. Because indoor air can be 2 to 5 times dirtier than outdoor air, especially when ducts leak, especially when filters are overlooked or overloaded. And if you've got pets, well, guess what? That just adds another layer of fuzz to the cake. Here's the wild part. Most folks think, well, I changed my filter, so I'm good. But that filter's only cleaning what passes through it. If half your air sneaking in from the attic or the crawl space or the walls or the floors, it never even gets to meet that filter. It's like washing one sock and throwing the other back in the drawer. Silly, but this is what ends up happening. You're halfway clean, halfway funky. Now, I'm not here to scare anybody, but I do want to make you aware, because awareness is the start of being in control of your situation. So let me show you how your home can breathe better without spending a dime on brand new equipment. First thing you can do, check your vents. Take a good look at them. If they're dusty, if they're streaked, or if they're sweating, that's your first red flag. Next, peek in your return grill. If you see dust bunnies the size of armadillos, that means air is getting in right where it shouldn't. And if your attic looks like a patchwork quilt of silver tape and prayers, my friend, it might be time to call in a pro for something like a pressure test. That's like an X-ray for your home's lungs. You know, I once walked into a home right here in Corpus Christi, and this was the home of a beautiful family. In fact, it was a beautiful home. 2 little boys, though, one with really bad asthma. Their mama told me she cleaned every day, but she just couldn't figure out why the kids kept wheezing and coughing. We ran a test, and you could see it clear as day. Attic air pouring straight into those kids' bedrooms. Dust, fiberglass, humidity, all of the above. Now, she teared up when we showed her the report. Not because she was mad at us, but because nobody had ever told her that her home could do that. And you know, that's when it hit me. Most folks think comfort's about temperature, but it's really about purity. Because if the air ain't clean, the temperature doesn't really matter, does it? We've all grown up thinking air conditioning means cold air. But the truth is, it's not just about cold. It's also about clean. Your system isn't just a machine. It's a set of lungs, filters, and arteries for your entire house. And when it runs smooth, you sleep better. You breathe easier, and your home smells like nothing. And nothing, for me, that's the best smell there is. Sometimes people ask me, well, Tommy, how do I know if my air is bad? And I say, first, pay attention to your nose. Pay attention to your skin. Pay attention to your energy. If you feel sluggish, dry, or sneezy at home, but you're fine at work, that's your body talking. If your walls feel clammy or your vents sweat, that's your home talking. And both of them are saying, hey, buddy, we need to breathe better. I like to think of air kind of like a mirror. You only really see your reflection in a mirror, and that mirror reflects how you live. So if your house is full of candles, pets, cooking smells, and not enough fresh air, that air gets heavy. You know what it's like? It's like trying to jog through syrup. That would be really hard, wouldn't it? But when you open up, when you balance the pressure, and you keep your ducts tight and clean, it's like your house takes a deep breath of fresh Gulf breeze. Now, don't go thinking I'm saying you got to live in a bubble, because that's not realistic, is it? Life is beautifully messy. Kids track in sand, dogs shake off, we cook, we laugh, we live, That's what makes a house a home. But your lungs and their lungs, they don't get to take a day off. They deserve a fair shot at fresh air. It's not about your fancy thermostat or how new your system looks. It's about how clean your air is. Because if your air feels heavy, your home's trying to tell you something. So the next time you walk down that hallway and catch a whiff of something off, stop for just a second. Listen, feel. Your home's breathing. And if you take care of its lungs, it will definitely take care of yours. You know, your kids may never thank you for it because they don't care about ducts, but their lungs sure do. I'm Tommy with Tommy Cool Air. Be cool, Corpus Christi, be cool. And if you're not from Corpus, will you be cool too?